What's up, everyone? My name is Nicholas Jennings, and today I'm having a movie review for The Jungle Book, which is a remake slash reimagining sort of thing that was done by Jon Favreau and Disney, and stars Idris Elba, Bill Murray, Sir Ben Kingsley, Scarlett Johansson, and Christopher Walken, amongst almost every other actor you could ever name. And this basically is a retelling of the classic story that was brought to life by Disney in the 50s, which is considered by a lot of people one of the best animated films from Disney. And I don't exactly share that opinion. Sure, it's good, but it's just not the best. The best one for me from the original age of Disney animation is, I would think Sleeping Beauty for me, but that's just my opinion. But this is a really faithful retelling. And I was so pleasantly surprised with this movie because, as you guys may know, what my opinions are on the film Maleficent, I fucking hated it. I hated that interpretation of Maleficent. You know, it still had some decent production design, it had some good sound design, costuming was great, and Angelina Jolie was good. It's just that the story was shit. It needed to be redone, but not in a way that's like, oh, it's the Wicked version. It's like Diet Wicked. You see what I mean there? But I'm so glad that recently we had Cinderella, which was another faithful adaptation, albeit it has a couple missteps here and there. And then The Jungle Book is possibly my favorite so far. This is honestly the best interpretation of both the original book by Richard Kupling. I can't let me know if I got that wrong. Kupling or Looping, I don't know. I can't remember names. And it's also a good adaptation from the original 1956 cartoon, which is a good cartoon. Let's start with the production design for this film. This film is 99.9% CGI, and that's saying something because there was a lot of things in this movie that I was fooled. The trees, the environment, the water. I mean, there's some water that's real. But, like, a lot of the stuff in this film is purely CGI. And they had lighting. Oh my god. This is amazing. This has got to be some of the best CGI work I have ever seen. And that's saying something because years ago, back in, I think in like 2010, 2008, I can't remember, we got Avatar. And Avatar was a really good CGI film for its time, and it's a good popcorn eat movie. And this one is so much better. You can see if you put that movie up against Avatar, you can tell how advanced we've become in CGI to the point where we've almost, we've almost like made entire worlds look real. And this is another one of those films. It's like I can't distinguish whether or not this is CGI. Like, there's some parts where I can notice that there's CGI, and I know that a lot of things are CGI, but there's some things that I thought were real. The design for King Louis especially looks real. It looks real. Like, everything about King Louis' design, his mannerisms, his face looks real. Everything looked real in this film, and it shocked me. It shocked me how real a lot of this stuff was, even though I knew it was fake. And oh my god, this is great. Jon Favreau, your team has done good. They need to be nominated for an Oscar. They need to. If not, then I don't really care. But I consider it to be the best production design so far this year. And that's saying something because we haven't seen a lot of other movies considering that it's April. And, who knows? Maybe my opinions may change, but I think that the production design for this film is good, considering that it's mostly CGI, as I said before. Let's get into performances here. I think everyone did a really good job, except one, which is kind of a sad thing. So let's start with the actor who played Mowgli. Mowgli is the weak link in this film. He's good. No. Stay the fuck out of the comment section with that bullshit. He was good. He was good. There are times, though, where I noticed that he was just, like, he didn't know where he needed to look. So, like, let's say Bagheera was right here and he's just looking here. Like, he's just looking like this. There was some times that were like that. But I can't blame him, because not everyone is that good with working with CGI characters. Even in Age of Ultron, when they had, like, the little stupid, like, battery pack thing that James Spader had to wear for Ultron, the Elizabeth Olsen was kind of looking everywhere too. But his performance was really good. And that's also saying something, because child actors today are really shit. And you can't get a lot of good child actors anymore. And that's a shame, because, you know, back in the 80s, we had, like, Drew Barrymore in E.T. We had, oh, crap, I can't remember the guy who played Elliot. I can't remember the guy who played Elliot. You know, he was good. We got the cast of the Goonies. You know, like, they were good. Most of them, anyway. We got the cast of Stand By Me, which was really good. And nowadays, you don't get a lot of really good child actors. And I really do praise the kid who plays Mowgli. He did a really fun job. I was laughing when I needed to laugh. I was scared when I needed to be scared. And it was great. Let's move on to Bagheera, played by Sir Ben Kingsley. He was good. He was really good. While researching some of this stuff for the Jungle Book remake, I was watching a couple interviews with Sir Ben Kingsley on the Today Show, and saying how, like, oh, he wanted to do this Colonel sort of, like, make Bagheera sort of like this Colonel character, and it really shows in this movie. And is it a good interpretation? Yeah. I think this is a pretty good interpretation. Sir Ben Kingsley is also good. And in speaking of Bagheera, he's my favorite design of this whole film. Like, I mean it. When he's in King Louis's castle and he's trying to get Mowgli out of the castle, like, you could see, like, you know how cats, if you flash a light into their eye, like, it's, or like, no, if you see them in the dark and their eyes are just glowing, they do it with Bagheera, and it was good. It was good. The CGI was good. It was good for Bagheera. Let's move on to Scarlett Johansson as Kaa. And this one was a bit iffy for me, because, you know, the original was voiced by Jim Cummings, who was Winnie the Pooh. And by casting Scarlett Johansson is actually kind of a clever choice. Now, it's not for the reasons that some people are going to point out, is like, oh yeah, well, she has a very sexy voice, so she kind of has that little hypnotic sort of saying of words. No, it's because Jim Cummings was known for playing Pooh Bear. And because he played such a cute character, no one really knew that he was going to play such a bad and evil character. Same thing goes with Scarlett Johansson. You know, kids who've watched her in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know, they're going to be like, oh yeah, she's this really kick-ass person. You know, and for her to play Kaa is just, oh my god, it scares me. But for the small time that she had on screen was really cool. And it was really brief, her scene with him. Although it was a pretty cool way to tell the backstory of, like, why Shere Khan is really after Mowgli. I thought that was really cool. Let's move on to the list. Bill Murray as Baloo. There's no words for him. There's no words. Like, who could have done it better? There's no one. who could do it better than Bill Murray. He is funny. This is the first performance I've seen in a long time that he wasn't phoning it in. Even in his own Christmas special, which was on Netflix, was phoned in. And it sucked to see that. And he was funny in this film. He wasn't phoning it in. He was genuine in this film. And that's what I like. I want to see Bill Murray do more of that. Come on, please, Bill Murray, do more roles like this. Come on. And, you know, Baloo is just, you know, he's snappy, he's good, he's witty, he's charming, he's great. Alright. Let's move on to Idris Elba as Shere Khan. Now, one of the many things I liked about the original Shere Khan was the fact that he was kind of a militaristic type person, but he was also clever and cunning, you know, and he was always just like, you know, he tries to trick people. And this one, he has some of that, but he's not fully like that, and I appreciate that, honestly, because I think that was kind of some of the downfall of the original, is that there wasn't enough beast in him, quote unquote. This is Idris Elba does a good job. Again, like, Idris Elba for me is the new Rambo, or is the new Sylvester Stallone for me. Even though he has better acting, even though Idris Elba is a better actor than Sylvester Stallone, he does a good job. He does a good job. He's intimidating, he's scary, and his introduction in the film is great. One of the greatest villain introductions I have seen in a while. This is great. He was great. The design for Shere Khan was great. Like, I love it. I love this movie. I love this movie. It's good. We finally get an adaptation that's good. And I love it. Oh, I love it. And I haven't even gotten to one of my favorite parts of the film, which was Christopher Walken as King Louie, which for me was the funniest thing ever. Like, again, same thing as Bill Murray as Baloo. Who else could have done King Louie? There's no one. There is no one who could have done it better than Christopher Walken. And Christopher Walken's a legend. He's a fun guy in this film. Even though, like, it's kind of different than the original. The original is like this, you know, laid back and, like, really fun dude. He's somewhat energetic. This one, he's kind of both. He's both energetic, but yet he's also a mob boss, which I thought was funny because, you know, he does that little mob boss sort of voice. It's like, yeah, you know, I got all these things, but I want to be like you. I want to be like you. I could have been someone. I could have been a contender. That's my Marlon Brando impression. This movie's great. This movie's great. If you have a theater around you, go see this film. Go see this film. And the only thing I want to say here is, if you have younger kids that are like 6, keep in mind, this film gets violent. And, you know, it doesn't get bloody, but there are parts in this movie where Shere Khan will just throw shit off a cliff. And it's great. You know, that's what makes him a little bit more intimidating than the original, is the fact that he actually fucking kills shit in order to prove his point that he's a menace, instead of, like, having passing notions in the original. Which I think is better. It's a better interpretation. So is this going to be on my best films of the year list? Maybe. You know, I think this is the only film I've liked this year other than Eddie the Eagle. You know, that's kind of it. Until, like, a couple months later. But this might be on the top 10 best films list, and I'm giving this film a 9 out of 10. This deserves a lot of credit. This deserves a lot of attention, and this deserves your money. Go see it in 3D. There are parts in this film that would be good for 3D. Just go watch it in 3D. Go see it in IMAX. Go see it at a matinee. Take your girlfriend with you. Take your whole, like, group with you. Take your frat with you. Like, this is a fun film. This is good. This is a really fun film, and I enjoyed it so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you agree with my opinion on this, please comment down below. If you don't agree with me, please comment down below. You know, and I mean, and the last thing I want to point out here is that the role of a critic, you know, you don't have to fully agree with critics. And there are some movies on Rotten Tomatoes that I consider good movies, like Hook. Hook doesn't have that high of a rating, but yet I consider it a really good film. There's other films on there as well that aren't that good to the rest of the critics that I find good, and there's some films I don't like but they like. So, and films are meant to draw opinions, and that's a good thing. This is a good movie. Go see it. See ya.